welcome to the Golden Hour. I am Golden Duffy, your host for this show. I am super duper excited about today. So today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm going to actually share this to my podcast. So this is season 2, episode 23, how to stop overcomplicating your life and manifest through this simple process. I'm going to give you the simplest process today possible so that you can really grasp how easy this is, because we're overcomplicating things. I think we're overcomplicating life. And I had a conversation the other day with a new friend, and shout out to Ariana. And it was such a cool conversation because it made me realize that when we really want something, when we really desire something, all we have to do is focus on that desire, be strong in it, set the intentions, write it down, and it manifests. I think the part that complicates it is you don't know exactly how manifestation works, which I'm hoping to really fill in those gaps for you today. Or B, you just think that it's way harder than it is. And I think I can fall into that category at times as well. And I'm watching the energy field, and I've got a great story that actually goes along with manifesting today that I'm really excited to share, because I watched the energy on this, and it was super interesting how it all transpired. And the biggest things that I'm going to share with you today are checking in with your energy field and not being so subject to your emotions. You know, when we give our power away to our emotions, we have a really hard time manifesting from a clear field, from a clear intention, when we allow our emotions to get real mucky. And a lot of the reasons why you get upset or you feel miserable or you don't feel like things are going to manifest is because you're not visualizing, you're not seeing things transpire in your favor. You're not sending out that faith and trust and belief that things are going to work out for you. So you get really upset because you're very focused on what you don't want to happen. That's always why we get miserable. That's always why we get upset. That's always why we get dissatisfied, because we don't trust the energy field. We don't trust that we are these co-creators and that we have this partnership. And also, you know, when it comes to manifesting, there's a patience involved, and nobody likes to be patient. We're very much not living in delayed gratification. We're very much a society who wants things now, that we don't want to wait for things. And because of the internet, because of the energy field moving so fast these days, you know, we click a button on Amazon and literally within 2 hours, I have stuff at my door that I wanted. It's crazy. So in understanding that, I mean, you could leave your house right now and go anywhere you want and buy pretty much anything you want and have it. It's the way our society is run right now. So when you start to understand energy and understand how energy works, there is a component, a really necessary component for you to understand, that the energetic takes time to become physical. And in that time frame, depending on what you do, you will either speed up the energy or you will slow down the energy. So I'm going to help you to understand where you're overcomplicating, where you're slowing down energy, and how to actually speed up energy in your favor and have more fun along the way. You know, like, why are we not having more fun along the way? Life, they say life is what you make of it. It is absolutely what you make of it. And I say all the time, one of my favorite sayings right now is life is relentless. Like, it's constantly coming. And we can either respond in a way that's going to create wonderful things for us, or we can respond in resistance and fighting and anger. There's a lot going on in the world right now, and I want to acknowledge that you may be part of what's going on in the world right now and what is being projected in the world right now. And I want you to know, what we focus on expands. So if you can take yourself out of that, you actually can create a world that you want to see versus what they say is going to happen. So keep your focus strong. Keep it on what you want to happen. Keep it on what the world that you want to live in, and not the world that they say we're going to live in. Because that is really important for all of us, to stay focused on what we want, to stay focused on our power, and to stay focused on the ability that we have to create our future, to create our present, and to create the way we feel right here and right now. People don't even realize, you may not even realize that how you feel conducts so much of what's coming to you. So when you feel powerless, when you feel fearful, when you feel in resistance, when you feel all of those things, you are attracting more things to come into your experience. This isn't a Pollyanna way of being. It's not a denial system. This is about tuning your focus into what you want to see, tuning your focus into what makes you feel good. Because I'm telling you right now, the more you focus on abundance, the more you focus on feeling good, the more you let stuff go that doesn't make you feel good, the sooner your life is going to start to upgrade. I have so many upgrades happening right now. It's making my head spin a little bit because the joy and things that I'm experiencing are so top tier. I am not saying this to brag. I'm not saying this to make you jealous. I'm saying this because I want you to come with me. I want everyone to experience what I have tuned into and how I have refined my life to become more. Now, I'm still a work in progress. I still got stuff going on. Yesterday or Tuesday, I don't even know what day it is. Tuesday, I celebrated 51 years on this planet. I had the most incredible birthday. My husband rented a yellow Mustang, which has been a dream of mine for a while. And we met these incredible people that rent the Mustangs. And actually, he's going to be on my show. He is amazing, an entrepreneur who left an Amish community and came to America and created a business for himself that is it's just so inspiring. I got a lot of good people coming up, a lot of people I'm excited to share with you. So we actually drove all the way through. We went north and ended up in Terranea, which is in Rancho Palos Verdes, RPV. Just a beautiful day. Just the weather was incredible. My company always is amazing. My wonderful husband who just cares for me so much. And it was just one thing after another. And the appreciation and love that I feel for my friends and just so many things, like so many things have lined up that make me feel like I'm upgrading to this level of abundance where I have to start shedding, like I have to start letting things go. So a little update for the golden hour, just so you know, today this will be shared to the podcast. So I've been going live twice a week for a couple of months, plus doing my podcast. And I feel very committed to my podcast because I have listeners there that have been committed to me for the last few years. And I feel like we're in a space of depth with one another that I can speak a little bit differently than I do on this show. And also the podcast is just me. Sometimes it's my family members, but for the most part, it's just me sharing my life, sharing, all the ways and all the things that I'm actually becoming aware of. So I had an awareness recently, and part of it was so interesting. And I shared a little bit, I think, the last time I was on the show, that I looked up my analytics and they were like, not great, not great. And I'm putting a lot of work into the show. There's a lot that goes into marketing. There's a lot that goes into organizing. There's a lot that goes into interviewing people and interviewing people for the interview to see if they're right for the show. And so I was like, I'm letting this go. I have to let it go. It's eating me alive. I can't keep this up. Like, I don't know how much longer I can do this for. And really awesome. I had a talk with my my television producer, and the analytics were all wrong. First of all, my analytics are like off the charts. Like thousands and thousands of people have been viewing this show, and that makes me feel like, oh my goodness, like I can't stop now, right? Like we have this dream and then it starts to create a little bit of momentum, but for a while your dream can very much feel like you just keep doing things and you're not really sure if it's working. So watching the energy field and then getting the feedback on that made me realize there's no way that I'm going to give up the show, the golden hour. I'm actually just going to go down to one day a week. So I'll be here on Thursdays at noon with people by myself, all different types of shows. And it felt really, really good to do that. I feel like I just went from having twins to one child. That's what I feel like. This week was so amazing, not to get the shows ready and to be on it and it was just so overwhelming. So there are ways that we can balance out our life story. There are other things that have come to my attention recently that I need to let go of. And there are things that are part of my identity. And as I was getting ready for the show, I realized I don't have to let them go. I can recreate them in a different way. But there are people in our lives, there are situations and relationships in our lives that sometimes we need to let go of. And sometimes may be in major resistance. You may feel like I need to stay in this relationship because I don't want to be alone, even if that relationship is holding you down. Even if that relationship is less than anything good, you may be holding on to it because you're afraid to let go of it. And that happens with jobs, that happens with, circumstances where you live, all of that. When that happens and you hold on to things for too long, what you do is you create a bunch of misery. And along the way, eventually, I feel like the universe will do something to either make it so obvious to you that you need to let this thing go, or it will take it away from you. This is why people lose jobs and things that they actually hated. And then they're devastated because they lost a job that they hated. And then all these amazing things happen. And they're like, oh my God, I should have quit that job like a year ago. So with manifestation, with universal conduction and co-creation, sometimes things will be taken away from you because your desire is so strong to get out of it, but you don't know how, or you're too afraid to move. So letting things go is a big part of creating the up levels in life. So, the realizations that have been so strong and the contrast that's been happening, I'm just realizing the things that I need to let go of and the things that I need to bring in more of. So on Friday, I kind of had a little bit of a rough day on Friday, and I was a little stressed out and realizing some things that I need to let go of. And I was going to the grocery store. My husband and I were going to have like a nice filet mignon dinner, and I get a call from a vet saying, oh, your cat is ready to be picked up. And I was like, okay, I don't have a cat at the vet. And they were like, oh, is this, and they said the name of my daughter. And I was like, no. So I call my daughter and I get really upset. Like I go from 0 to 100, like this. And this happens. Like I am human and I am not perfect. And I know what I want. And I know I do not want another cat. So we actually have 2 cats. And, my daughter found this cat on the street, a little tiny kitten, super, super cute kitten. And he was kind of sick, and she took him to the vet, and she spent $300 on this cat at the vet, like getting it dewormed and defleed and the whole thing. And I don't want this cat. And I keep saying to her, you cannot bring this cat home. And I am very adamant about not having another cat. And so our 2 older cats are like 11 and 12. And we tried to get a third cat a long time ago when we lived on the East Coast. We tried to get a third cat. And our one cat is a calico, and she bullied the cat like really bad, so bad that the cat started peeing all over the house, and we had to get rid of it. So I know this my little kitty has an attitude, and she's actually not really gotten along with my other cat for the last 11 years. Like she's like, she should be an only cat. So my second cat is actually a little traumatized from her. So she's a little skittish because she's been pretty much bullied, but not to the point where it's like so bad that they can't be together. So I know a third cat is not a good idea. So she brings the cat into the house, and we have it in a box, and we're pretty much like, we can't keep it. So she finds a friend to take it. And I'm like, okay, cool. Meantime, I'm vacillating between being stressed and feeling a little powerless that there's a cat in my house. He started out in the garage in a box. Now he's in the dining room in a box. And her friend comes and gets him. Doesn't even last 12 hours. They bring him back and they're like, we can't keep him. Our place is too small, whatever. And the whole time, so this is part of like listening to your intuition. The whole time my intuition just tells me this is going to work out. This is not your cat. This is going to work out. So I've been kind of a little standoffish with him. Like I'm not really loving up on him. I'm not really getting attached, right? We practice detachment when we know that something is not meant for us. Well, my daughter is not as spiritually advanced in that way that she's able to do that. She feels a lot deeper than I do, for sure. Plus, she doesn't really understand why we can't have a third cat, even though we've explained it to her, even though she's had the cats together and our cat is hissing. Like, it's obvious, right? So I just kind of let it go. And there's some talks of other people taking this cat, but I'm starting to get a little concerned for the cat, because now the cat is healthy. The cat is feeling good. The cat's like really playful and starting to meow in the box. And so I start taking out and play with it. So I'm playing with him yesterday, and he is so flippin' cute. Like, he is so adorable. He's got these little spots on his tummy, and he's really playful, and he's really sweet, like super purry. And we start playing with him, and then my husband starts playing with him, and then I bring him up into my bedroom, and he disappears under the end table, and I'm like, all right, he can't be let out because he's scared, and he's going to hide, and he's going to be hard to get. So I put him back in the box, and I'm starting to really feel like, gosh, this cat is not going to be able to stay in this box for much longer, and I'm leaving for the weekend. Tomorrow we're going to Santa Barbara for my birthday. So I had an intuition yesterday to take a couple of pictures of him, because I'm like, you know what? Okay, activation of the universe, manifestation of what you want takes some sort of movement. You can't just sit there and wish and hope and pray for things, because the activation is not strong enough, right? Think about the wave behind me. You have to have an activation of energy, a strong intention for manifestation to take place. So I took a couple pictures of him and I posted them on Facebook, and I said, hey, all my Orange County peeps, is anybody looking for a kitten? And I got a text message last night from someone who is the most loving couple, so perfect for this kitten. And I truly believe, now they haven't come yet, but I truly believe that this was an alignment. And that was what I always saw it as, an alignment for us to save this little kitty's life that was found on the streets, bring him back to health, and then pass him on to the family of who he is intended for. Well, my daughter was very, very, very upset this morning, very much in resistance, very, just feeling powerless, I think is really what I could say. Witnessing how she reacted was that she was feeling really powerless. So it sounded like World War III went off in my house this morning. And luckily, my husband and I are aware of this. And, we can get a little dragged into it and we can engage a little bit, but we always bring it back and we always calm it down and we always apologize and love one another. And we come back much stronger and much faster than we used to. So there's no like beating myself up for feeling. And this is the thing about having kids that I really want you to hear, because this is something that I have an awareness of. I have 4 children. My oldest is 31, 29, 21, and 19, and they're all girls. And I will say, when they don't get their way, they get mean. They get real mean. And if you have a wound that they are able to pour salt in, they absolutely will. And when they do that, you will feel like the worst human being on the planet. I'm like, I always feel like such a good mom until stuff like this happens. And then I feel like a piece of crap. And the truth is, without those wounds, once you heal, once you know who you are, once you are confident in the being that you are and the human being that you are, not just this spiritually evolved, manifester, but acknowledging the fact that I have emotions, that I can get upset, that I can feel disrespected. That was one of the things that she said was like, you guys are disrespecting my feelings. And I'm looking at the couch with this huge chocolate stain. I literally have stains on my couch every single morning. And I go there and I scrub them down. Thank God I have this stuff. It's made it so much easier. But like every day I ask her, could you just put a towel on the couch when you eat? So, I have a white couch. I know it's ridiculous, but I have a white couch. So then when she said that disrespect thing, it hit a trigger for me. And as I'm scrubbing the chocolate stain off the couch, I'm like, well, where's the respect for us? Like, the respect has to go both ways. So with your children, when they get upset, it usually means it's because they're not getting their way. They're not feeling heard. That's one of her things, is she's not feeling heard. So we have to find a way to communicate and love her through this, even when she's in attack mode and when she's saying that we're attacking her. When you're in a situation like that, we call it not a teaching moment. When emotions are high, logic is lost. So deep breaths, calming yourself down, no name calling. Name calling is so damaging. It's so damaging. So being really careful to not call each other names, because that's what really damages your kids' self-esteem, is that it's the name calling and it's the attacking. So it's valuing each other's feelings. It's hearing each other out. It's being okay with the neighbors hearing you. I was texting with my neighbor this morning and I'm like, yeah, World War III broke out. She's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, we're okay. We're okay. Sent text messages of love afterwards. They're coming to look at the kitten tonight at 6:30, and I believe the kitten has found the most perfect home. So in manifesting that experience, looking back at what transpired, number one is not getting super stressed, like bringing so much stress to the table. I kept reminding myself throughout this journey, which started on Friday. It's now Thursday, and I'm going away for the weekend, and I do not want this cat in the box all weekend. Like, that's not fair to the kitty. He's starting to get rambunctious. He wants to be out of the box. I'm not going to be here. My kids work a lot. They're not here a lot. So it's not fair to this little kitty to just leave him alone with these other, adult cats that are not going to accept him. So my intention was to find a home for him before we left. So in that, recognizing, okay, I did get super stressed. I was crazy for a minute. I did holler. I did get upset. But it was, the idea of something coming into my home that I did not want. Like, I don't want 3 cats. My cats are 11 and 12. Like, they're, my husband and I have plans. We're looking to travel. We're looking to do things. A kitten is not in the plan. It would be like having a baby. It's not in the plan right now. So in recognizing that, if I had kind of stopped and taken a couple of deep breaths and just decided what I wanted to happen, it was so obvious that she couldn't leave this little kitten on the street. I mean, I don't know many people that could just walk away from a tiny little hurting, sick kitty. So in that, recognizing the manifestation and how it all played out, I created a little stress for myself that was unnecessary. However, sometimes the stress drives the desire, right? So I know what my desire is. I kept interrupting throughout the frustration and the powerlessness. Like, when I would go, oh, this thing with this cat is starting to stress me out. Yesterday I was in like, okay, what can we do about this? And my husband and I had both kind of let go of the idea that the cat needed to leave for a second. Like, we just kind of allowed it to be there, and we allowed ourselves to play with it, and we allowed ourselves to love it. And that's when the solution came, when we let go of the resistance and we allowed. And that is a really good indication that you are on the right trail. Watching the energy is super important. Looking to what transpired and watching the energy field. The girl who first took the cat was not right for the cat. And I knew that, and I wasn't super bummed out when the cat came back. I was like, okay, we're starting again. That wasn't meant to be. Now we got to start over again. Being in solution mode is super duper important. All right, so one more little tip on letting things go. So when it comes to manifesting, when it comes to being truly abundant in your life, when it comes to raising your vibration, like, the upgrades that I've been experiencing are because of the things that I have in place every day, which are meditating, exercising, spending time in nature, appreciation, gratitude, love, friendships, laughter, fun. All of those things are going to put you on a trajectory of creating more abundance, even if your bank account is below zero. Letting go of that constriction and that feeling of not being free is what's going to put you on the trail towards abundance. So we had a couple of things happen that just kind of up-leveled our lives as far as like finances and abundance goes. So in feeling that, recognizing what I was doing before and letting those things go, that feeling of constriction and not having enough, or feeling like money has to come from a certain way, just letting it go, right? Because letting my show go once a week was less money for me. So I had to let that go. Letting group coaching go was a huge income downgrade for me, just for me personally. But letting the things go that are not working for me, it's opening up my life to more abundance. And that's what happened, because I'm happier, because I'm freer, because I feel better. More abundance can come to me as well as you when you start to realize in that energy field, when you're doing things that are bringing you down. So think about this. And I know I've shared this before, but this is such an important concept. Those things that detract from your joy, which means, when you're taking in the bad news, when you're projecting that something terrible is coming and something terrible is going to happen, when you're in relationships that are sucking the life out of you, and you're hanging out with people that don't value you and don't value your voice or what you're doing, those need to be let go of. People that abuse you, that don't see your light, that don't treat you right. All those things are putting boundaries in place for yourself, and you're telling the universe, I am worth more than this. And yeah, you might have to be alone for a little while. You may have to clear your life of these things so that you can make room for the upgrades, you can make room for the people who are going to see you, who are going to value you, who are going to treat you the way you deserve to be treated. If you don't feel like you deserve to be treated better, you've got some inner work to do. You've got some healing to do. And it's really easy when you come from, family situations or relationships in the past that didn't value you, and you stayed in those relationships and you created a lot of people pleasing, a lot of obligation. You lived with a lot of resentments. That's one of the main reasons why I didn't say, okay, fine, we can keep the cat, because I felt like I would be resentful. And it would be my own fault because I let my boundary down, because I did something just to people please, even though I knew it wasn't right. I know keeping this cat is not right. So in that, I can feel confident and also watch the energy field. The energy field opened up and created a perfect case scenario for this kitty to find the right home. So I didn't have to be resentful. I didn't have to people please. I didn't have to do things so that my daughter wouldn't be upset. If you're doing that in parenting, that's really challenging. And let me explain why. When we give in to our kids when they're having negative emotion or temper tantrums, or they're flipping out, and this is across the board, even before I knew about law of attraction, I would not do this with my children because I know it's wrong. When you give into them because they're begging or crying or in serious negative emotion, you teach them that that's how the world works. And you teach them that negative emotion will get them what they want. So not good. So not good. So I will even say this to this day to my granddaughter when she's having a fit. I'll say, Gigi will never give you what you want when you're upset. We have to calm down. We got to come back together. We got to clean up our energy. And then we can talk about what you really want to happen. So we want to hear our kids. We want them to have a voice with us. We want them to feel like they are being heard, but we don't want to give in because we're being forced to, because that creates resentments and that creates really just mucky energy in our relationships. And it doesn't teach them the proper way that the world works. It doesn't teach them the proper way to manifestation, which is being happy on the way to it, which is having a good attitude, about having gratitude, about meeting the challenges in the world with solution energy versus problem energy. Anytime we're flipping out, anytime we're crying, anytime we're having a fit about something, we are in resistance to the energy field. We are in resistance to actually creating what we want. So negative emotion happens to all of us. Hello, happens to me, but it's not really going to get you on the train to solutions. It's going to cause the train to put the brakes on, and it slows the energy way down, especially if you're resistant and arguing and fighting. Anytime we're in this mode of trying to fight for our rights, fight, right? Anytime we're in that energy of, I will not do that, we are in resistance and we're not in solution. We're fighting what is or what it looks like is going to happen, and we're not in the solution field. When we're in solution energy, we feel good. We trust. We have faith. We understand that the energetic needs time to catch up with the physical. The energy needs time to break down and become physical matter. And along the way, we can be okay because we have the trust and the faith that everything's going to work out instead of the resistance that it's not. Anytime you're in negative emotion, it's because you're projecting something you don't want. You're projecting that something's going to happen that you don't want. I have so many notes here and I have not stuck to any of them, which is kind of funny. Okay. Okay. Realization of the simplified process. You know what? I'm going to go through how you're overcomplicating it first, and then I'll give you the simplified process at the end so that you've got a real firm understanding and you can kind of run with it at the end. Okay. So here's how you're overcomplicating life. Here's how you're overcomplicating manifestation. And here's why things may not be manifesting for you. Ready? All right. So you're not letting stuff go. You're holding on to things that you should have let go of probably a long time ago because you're scared to let them go. You're operating from fear and you're not letting the progression of your life expand and grow you. That has to do with relationships. That has to do with jobs. That has to do with any experience in your life that is causing you major amounts of stress, feelings of powerlessness, or not feeling valued. All of those things. So I'm not saying quit your job tomorrow. What I am saying is activate energy for a new job. I'm not saying leave your spouse tomorrow. You can still work on that. I'm not saying, get rid of all your friends. What I am saying is let's weigh out the joy. Is there any joy left in it? If there's no joy left in it, you have your answer. Because I truly believe that we are here for the joy. I believe that we're here for the fun of the journey, to expand and grow through things and realize our power in them. Staying frustrated. Anytime we're frustrated and upset, we're in resistance to what's happening. When we're in resistance to what's happening, it's putting the brakes on the train. We're slowing the energy way down. Frustration and powerlessness are always connected to a projection of the future that you don't want to happen. Something happening that you don't want to happen. Creating resistance by arguing or fighting. When I wanted to move to California and my husband wasn't so sure about it, he's a Taurus. He doesn't really like change. And he created a big business in Connecticut. It was the only thing we ever knew. So when I started formulating this idea of moving west, he wasn't totally on board. And he would say things like, I don't even want to do that. And if I fought him and I got upset about that, I would take myself out of my manifestation process and I would get myself overcomplicated. I would get myself in a bunch of mucky energy, and then I would start trying to justify what I wanted. I let all that go. I let it all go. I meditated to the ocean waves. I talked to people who were from California. I manifested winning the lottery, $1,000 to pay for plane tickets so we could come here and he could fall in love with it, which he did. So I didn't need to fight. I didn't need to fight for my manifestation. I didn't need to fight my daughter on this cat. I just needed to set my intentions clear. I just needed her to know, which I was very obvious about, we're not keeping the cat. Love the kitty so much. We're not his home. I said that many times. I don't think she heard me, but I said it. 5, creating from desperate energy. I've done a lot of this in my life. When you're desperate and you're afraid, you act like a fool. You don't really trust in the energy field. You're not co-creating with the universe when you're trying to push things into place, when you're getting really desperate. I remember a couple of instances that we had when we were buying cars, and it was like, oh, this is really hard. This isn't the right situation. First of all, the universe will never pressure you. So don't let people pressure you. And people try to pressure me. I'm like, dude, you can't pressure me, because I believe what's meant for me will be. Also, what I said to my daughter with the cat, I'm like, if this cat is meant to come back to us, he will, but I don't think he is. I don't think he's meant to be here. So trust that. Trust that the universe has this divine orchestration, this divine timing, this divine plan for your life. The orchestrations are so delicious. They are so amazing. When we went, so I rented a Mustang in Connecticut with my girlfriend. Actually, she rented it, and it was such a blast. It was a convertible. The weather was gorgeous. It was a brand new Mustang. Super fun. And when I got home, I started thinking about the fact that I wanted a convertible Mustang, but I wanted an old one. I really wanted an old one, and I wanted to be yellow, right? This was my thing. Not even a week or two goes by, and I'm driving in Newport with my friends, and I see this yellow Mustang on the side of the road, rent me. And I was like, no way. So I told my husband about it. I was like, this is crazy, and this would be so fun to do. And I just put it out there. I didn't tell him. I mean, I told him that I wanted to do it, but he just took it and did it for my birthday. Funny enough, he rented a red one for my birthday. And that morning they texted him and said, the red one is not available because the transmission is gone. Can you pick a different one? And I was like, I want the yellow one. And so I ended up with the yellow one, which His name was Sunshine. Hello. So now this guy who rents these Mustangs also finds old ones for people. So now I'm formulating that plan because I am going to have a Mustang. It's mine. Like, I just know it. I feel it. I drove it. I'm all about it. So in manifesting, just letting things go and allowing them to come into being and not being super, not needing things to be a certain way all the time, but being a little freer with your energy field, like not letting yourself get upset about things, not letting yourself get frustrated, not slowing down the energy, but trusting on the way to all those things that they're going to transpire and everything is going to work out. I don't know when he came up with this Mustang idea, but it was really interesting. He wasn't supposed to be off for my birthday. It was the middle of the week, and he's got a lot of projects right now. And originally we had this plan to go to Santa Barbara tomorrow. So we're going to be gone for the weekend. So on Tuesday, I had some plans that fell through, and he's like, I got you. So I have to ask him when this whole renting the Mustang thing transpired, because it was divine intervention as far as I'm concerned. Okay, more ways that you may be overcomplicating manifestation and not allowing things to come to you. Feeling miserable. Yeah. Feeling miserable, wishing, hoping, where's my stuff? Why isn't it here yet? Feeling that frustration. All of that is going to slow the energy down. We got to be happy on the way to it. You can't be happy when. Before I moved to California, I knew that winter I had to find joy. I had to find happiness, and I did. I was under blankets and cats with my coffee, but I found ways to feel satisfied. I found ways to feel happy. And part of the reason I was happy is because I knew. I had this knowing, I had this intuition that would be my last winter. And that's how I acted. I created from that identity. Talking about what you don't want to happen. Hello, anybody doing that? Yeah. All the time. People are like, I don't want to get stuck in traffic. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to go broke. All those things are conducting in your experience. And my understanding was always that the universe doesn't hear, I don't want. But now what I understand is the universe hears your focus. So your focus is the end of the sentence. Sick, stuck, late, all those things are your focus. And that's why you want to focus on health, being on time. I'm always on time. That's my mantra. I'm always on time. So even if the clock says I'm running late, I will show up and the person I was going to meet shows up at the same time. It's like perfect divine timing. But it only happens because I don't get worried or frustrated or stressed. When you're over complicating visualization. So I know a lot of people that are like, I visualize every day. Like, you visualize like it's your job and you're holding on really tight. And you're like, ooh, like you're squeezing it out. It's not that hard. When you're saying affirmations and every day you're like, I'm abundant, but you're not really feeling it. You're feeling more frustration than you are feeling like it's coming. So that's the difference. When we're trying to make things happen way too hard, we're holding on too tight, we're not in alignment with it. We're in alignment against it because we're not in the belief or the trust or the faith that it's coming. So I know a lot of people that do the, vision boards, and I write it down and I say my affirmations every day, and they check it all off a list, but there's no feeling of joy. They're just doing it like it's a job, like it's an expectation. Like, if I don't do this, it's not going to happen. And that's not the truth, because the truth is, once you put it out there, you write it down, you feel it, you let it go. Now the universe has picked it up. Because you dropped it, because you let it go, because you gave it to the universe to here, help me co-create this. Because you're not like, if it's to be, it's up to me. You're allowing the energy field to ramp up when you do that. Hanging out with miserable people. Oh man. Anything that you're doing that drops your vibration. So it could be listening to the news. It could be being in those negative conversations. It could be complaining. It could be, physical pain. Every day you're paying a lot of attention to your physical pain. My daughter yesterday, it was funny. One of my daughters went to work and she wasn't feeling good when she left the house. She was feeling like she had a cold. And I'm like, well, just call it allergies. Anytime you feel a cold coming on, if you go down into that sickness, that rabbit hole, you're going down. If you can just stay up and be like, it's just allergies. I'm just, my body is just, it's releasing something, like whatever you can tell yourself to kind of soften that, you're going to be a lot easier. So she went to work. She did the things. She took the vitamins. She went to work. She took a little cold medicine, and she told herself a new story. Like, I've got to go to work. I got to make up my mind to feel better. I'm going to make a strong decision that I'm going to feel better. I'm going to do some wellness shots, right? She works at like a juice bar. It's perfect. She called me at noon and she was like, I feel so much better. I feel so much better. And I'm like, because you told yourself a new story. You didn't call in sick. You didn't lay in your bed. You didn't feel sorry for yourself. Instead, you got up. You got in your power. You decided. You made a strong decision for health. And that's how you manifest. Doing things to self-sabotage. So that's like, when you're feeling super miserable and you just do things that make it worse, like, drink alcohol, substances, all those things that drop your vibration, watching cruddy TV, watching TV all day. Good Lord, do not do that. I watched TV for like an hour the day we were supposed to have the hurricane in the morning. And I felt like, holy heck, like, how do people do this? I don't watch daytime TV. The only time I watch TV is at night, the end of the day, when I'm looking to just chill out a little bit. Sometimes before dinner, I'll watch Seinfeld. I'm really in love with Seinfeld. I don't know why. I'm watching it again for like the 8th time. Hopelessness. Feeling hopeless, feeling like nothing ever goes your way, feeling sorry for yourself, I guess. It's like that big freaking pity party, right? When you're having that pity party and you're not allowing yourself to be in the joy of life, but you're just feeling sorry for yourself. You're powerless, you're unworthy. All of that stuff will just slow the energy field way down, and it will not bring you what you are looking for, because part of the reason is you're all tripped up and you're not in any sort of gratitude whatsoever when you're feeling sorry for yourself. You are forgetting how many wonderful things you have going for you in your life. You're forgetting how good life really is, and you're taking it for granted. And anytime we do that, I feel like we're doing life and ourselves and everyone around us a huge disservice. All right, here we go. So this is the realization of a simplified process of manifesting. This is all you ever have to do. This is all you ever have to believe in. And this is all you ever have to trust in order to manifest what you're looking to manifest. Now, there's a few caveats in here that I will give you that are important to know. But for the most part, if you do this process, especially with the things that are not like really big, totally change your life stuff, you will very much become a very strong manifester. All right, number 1, letting stress go. So anytime we stress ourselves out, anytime we're in negative emotion, often it's an invitation to heal something for sure. But for the most part, it's because you're focused on what you don't want to happen. You are believing that things are not going to transpire for you in the most optimal way. If we had a crystal ball and we were able to look into that crystal ball and see how wonderful things are going to work out for us, we'd all be walking around happy. We'd all be in a good mood. Like, let's say if you found out, okay, you are going to win $3 million in 3 months. What would this 3 months look like? You probably couldn't get in a bad mood, to be honest, right? That's how we need to act, because that's the knowing, that's the identifying, that's the connection to things going well for us. So an unexpected bill comes, you're like, it's okay. I'm going to pay it because I know I got more coming. If you did that, you would be in abundance before you know it. You would be creating massive abundance. Number 2, not allowing frustration and fear to create for you. You're human. I'm human. It happens. The best thing you can do is interrupt it, which is what I kept doing with this kitty. I just kept interrupting it. It's all going to work out. His home is coming. There's going to be the perfect people for him. There's so much love in this universe. Like, the love that this little kitty is beaming. It's reflecting. It's attracting. So I just kept calling myself back. So it doesn't mean the thoughts aren't going to be there. It doesn't mean you're not going to experience the thoughts. It's just your decision if you tune into them or not, if you get upset by them or not, if you jump in that rabbit hole and start, stirring it up. It's up to you. And that's mind training. That's meditation. I did at my M21 group on Facebook, freaking awesome group. We've got so many good people in there. If you go to M21 Revolution group on Facebook and join, we'll just accept you. We now have our last challenge, the 21 days of meditation, are at the top of that page now. So you can just click and do your own 21-day challenge. And there it is. You will become stronger at manifesting when you train your mind and you quiet it. And those meditations are top notch. They're so good. Okay. Not allowing frustration, fear, or powerlessness to guide you, which means check in your energy fields. How am I feeling? Am I doing this out of desperation? Am I not letting this go because I'm afraid? Start listening to that inner voice, start listening to your heart, and start allowing it to guide you. Watch for signs. Feel inspiration. Work from your inspiration. I felt completely inspired. I was in a really good place yesterday when I posted those the pictures of the kitty. He was playing with me. We were in love. And I just felt like, oh, someone has got to love this kitty. I just know it. I worked from my intuition, and then I followed the energy. So follow the energy will always tell you where to go next. And if it's not telling you anything, it means you just have to not wait. We don't want to wait, because waiting is weighing the energy field down. We need to be in an expected state, looking. We need to be aware. We need to be paying attention, and we need to be expecting something to come. Listening to your intuition is super important. That also goes along with meditation, because as you quiet your mind, that little voice inside of your heart is going to be louder, and you'll be able to hear it a lot easier than when you've got this monkey mind craziness going on. Trust and have faith. It's working out, man. It's all working out for you. And you know what? If you are in a situation where your life has not worked out until now, just start listening to more of this, because I'm giving you the exact breakdown to have things work out for you, and why things may have not worked out for you up until now. Could be because you're not in enough gratitude. Could be because you're taking things for granted. Could be because you're in a pity party. Could be because you're listening to the news. Could be because you got negative people on your Facebook feed. Listen, there's this little button on Facebook called hide. You don't even have to unfriend people or unfollow. It's very simple to get that negative crap off your feed, unless you're tuning into it, you're drawn to it, you love the drama of it. My favorite saying is no drama necessary. This whole I will not comply. It's drama. It's fear. It's playing into the hands of all this energy that doesn't belong in our experience. So check in with those things that are dropping your vibration, that are causing you to not feel in your power, and start letting them go. If it's an addiction, let it go. Release it. Release your hold on it. Take days. Go, I'm not going to do that for 3 days. Take 3 days. Do you know 3 days, your entire cellular structure resets? So the addiction that you have, it's all up here, unless you're addicted to heroin. I don't really know how that works. But seriously, if it's alcohol, if it's weed, if it's any of those, it's all up here. So the only thing you have to do is tune yourself out of it. Keep interrupting it. Even if you have to do it 100 times, you got to reset your neural pathways. That's the interruption process from the negative thoughts, from the thoughts that are trying to get you to do the things you shouldn't be doing. Trust and have faith. Write it down. It's so freaking simple. And the reason why writing it down is so magical is, first of all, writing is the strongest form of focus. Second of all, it clarifies for you. It helps you to clarify what you actually want. And it can show you if you're putting a lot of limits on things. So I always share with people, don't write down what you think is possible. Write down what you really want to happen. Oftentimes those are different, because we think we have to suffer. We think we have to sacrifice. That's an old paradigm. We can let go of that. We can say, what do you really like? If you could just choose, right? If you could mold the clay, if you could take that crystal ball and you could say, okay, I'm going to want, this is what's going to happen, then your intention is strong, your energetic wave is strong, and you're more likely to manifest what you want versus what you think is going to happen. We often don't project what we really want to happen. We just project what we think we're kind of worthy of, right? You're worthy of so much more. You're worthy of incredible things happening. You're worthy of all the desires of your heart to manifest and come true. But you know what's interesting about that? As soon as your desires come true, as soon as you manifest those great things, you're on to something else. And that's why the gratitude piece is important, because if we could be happy on the way, then we wouldn't be in this overcomplication. We wouldn't be in this like fighting and striving and trying to get there all the time. We would be thriving. We would be in joy. We would be in happiness. We would be in peace. We would be in satisfaction. We would be in bliss. And you could fight me on this and say that that's not what life's about. You could fight me and say life's about the struggle and life's about the suck and life's about making it happen and getting it done and doing all the things. And I would just say, all right, if that's what you want to do. I just like this so much better. My life is so much better because I'm not in desperation, because I'm not fighting the energy field, because I know who I am and because I know how this process works and I'm refining it. I'm still refining it. Good Lord. Okay, write it down. Moving away from negativity, interrupt, reset those neural pathways, baby. Go for it. You get some negativity. It's usually at 2:00 in the morning. Interrupt that stuff. Do your breathing exercises. Count down from 100. Do everything you can not to tune into those crappy radio stations. Listen to music. Y'all know I'm absolutely infatuated with the elevators right now. It's ELOVATERS. Oh, they may be on my show. I love these boys so much. I love what they've created. I love their music. I love their vibe. I love everything about it. Listen to good music, stick figure, elevators, anything that uplifts your experience. There's a new song by K-Bong right now that I absolutely love. Check him out on Instagram, K-Bong. It's all about having a good day. It's so good. And walking down a country road, like I actually shared it on my story yesterday because these boys are just men. These men are just tuned into a high frequency of living. And when you listen to things of a high frequency, like this show that reminds you of who you are, you're going to put yourself in a different place. You're going to put yourself in a different vibration. By being in a different vibration more, your life is going to upgrade. You're going to start to up level. All these incredible things are going to start happening. And they can be small little satisfactions. Like for instance, let me finish this and then I'll share that little sample because I'm almost done. Follow the energy, watch the energy field, listen to that intuition and act on it. Ooh, I'm going to put up pictures of this cute little kitty because I'm so happy right now and somebody else needs to feel this joy and this love. Follow the energy. It will show you where to go. Trust in the meant to be. That's probably the biggest one. Trust in the meant to be. Trust in the divine orchestration of your life. Trust that things are working out for you. That faith, that trust, that letting it go, right? Let go, let God, right? That letting it go will allow you to be in more joy on the way to it and to calm down, like not to be so stressed, not to be so concerned that things aren't going to work out for you. When you're concerned things aren't going to work out for you, what are you doing? Think about the energy that you're sending to that energy that you're sending out. So these little upgrades, they can be small, but they actually make a profound difference in your life. Here's a few. This is really silly. I met this lady from Morocco the other day, not from Morocco. She sells things from Morocco in this little shop that's near this restaurant that I absolutely love in Laguna Beach. And turns out she's from my hometown, like holy synchronicity. She's from my hometown. It was her birthday the other day and my birthday was Tuesday. So we had all these incredible things going on. I buy this purse from Morocco. It's incredible. I absolutely love it. It's perfect. It's everything for me. My last purse was driving me crazy. It's an upgrade. My water bottle, I just got a new water bottle. Get yourself one of these. A Walla. Oh my gosh, this thing's amazing. Like it just pops open. There's a straw. There's an opening. Feel like it's an upgrade. I got a Fitbit. Oh my gosh, love the Fitbit. It's connected to my phone. I can track all my steps. You know how I love to do that. So the little tiny upgrades that can give us more and more satisfaction is what's going to make our life better. I love you all. I love being here. I'm so happy that I'm going to continue this show. I am interviewing some incredible people with inspiring stories. So stay tuned for next Thursday. I believe we're going to be doing a show on insomnia and how to overcome insomnia and create a wonderful night's sleep. I believe that will be my next show. And if not, that one's coming up soon. But I love you all. Understand that you are creating the joy that you live, that you are here to create that joy, and that no one has the permission to steal your joy from you. And you have all the permission to create as much joy as you want in this life. Love y'all. Peace out.